Okay, let's hope that this is better. I really wanted to do it from my computer because I wanted to record it on Zoom or something, so I only have to do this one time. I don't know if I can do this. I'm gonna tag Danny so she can join in. Hopefully she can share it for me. But I'll just tag a couple of people that are constantly keeping up with me so that I can share this one time, and hopefully I can figure out maybe how to record it from Facebook. I don't know. Anyways, so we're here in New York. Let me just say that I'm exhausted. I'm utterly exhausted. So I don't know how this live is gonna go. Forgive me in advance because I'm tired. Like really tired. So okay. I think, yeah, let's just start with where we are now. Carlene was discharged from Sloan last night, really late last night. I wasn't ready for her to be discharged. I wasn't expecting for them to let her out of the hospital, but they did. And we have a pre-op appointment tomorrow. So let me just say, we'll be going in for pre-op tomorrow, and her surgery is scheduled for Monday. So that's the plan. Part of me is like a little, I think she's coming in right now, actually. Part of me is a little like worried because I wanted her to be able to, yeah, here she comes. Hi. Come. Say hi. 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 What's the matter? You want some juice? Okay. Yeah. Part of me was a little apprehensive for her to come back. Will come out of the hospital because she's on a few meds that they really want her to take. Here, can you give this to her for me? Mm-hmm. Here, sit down with it. They have her on a few meds that they want her to take, and one of them, the steroid, is like totally gross and she hates it, and fighting with her to get her to take it is like, and they were giving it to her IV in the hospital. And the steroid happens to be really important because they're trying to get the swelling down in her eye for two reasons. Number one, to be able to make a more definitive diagnosis of actually what's going on. And number two, to be able to, here, do you want this? Want to try this? To be able to have the surgery go easier, because the way that her eye is swollen right now, it's really, the surgery is going to be challenging, to say the least, Dr. Abramson said. So her being on these steroids is super important, and me fighting with her to give it to her because Carlene is a total fighter is it's stressful, to say the least, which is another reason I'm tired, because you have to give it to her around the clock. So yeah, but so okay, like I said, I'm tired, so you have to excuse me. I'm going to try to like be as coherent as possible. We had our meeting with Dr. Abramson on Tuesday. He's the ophthalmologist. He's the senior ophthalmologist at Sloan, and he's been practicing on retinoblastoma for like 40 years. So he's the person that I really wanted her to see. And he's who she saw last year when we had got the clear MRI that the tumor was non-detected. We actually brought her here to Sloan for confirmation of that. And Dr. Abramson confirmed that last year, the tumor was non-detected. So at that time, he was like, we don't need to take out the eye. We're just going to take a wait and see approach. You know, things are looking good. So we're going to see, you know, how it goes from here. So we had an at-length conversation on Tuesday about, you know, last year, what the findings were and the whole 9 yards. What was supposed to happen last year after we left Sloan was she was supposed to undergo a lot of genetic tests to determine like what kind of tumor it was or what was going on. I was of the impression when she was first diagnosed that it wasn't a retinoblastoma. I'm like, the level of calcification in the mass, I looked at the scans myself, the way that I interpreted them, I'm like, it's not retinoblastoma, and I don't feel like it is. And then when I brought her to Dr. Abramson last year, he confirmed it's not a retinoblastoma. Then we did a genetic test for retinoblastoma, and the genetic test markers for retinoblastoma came back negative. Now he's thinking, I don't know if it's retinoblastoma or if it's not, because it's, you know, coming back and we don't know really what's going on. Fact of the matter is, last year, he said, I don't get stumped very often, but I have no clue what's going on. And Tuesday, he's like, I have no clue what's going on. Like, I have no clue what type of tumor this is or whatever. Last year, I had offered the opinion that maybe it was a teratoma, like my daughter Kiana had. And he said, you know, actually that matches like exactly for what she's going through. But teratomas are rare, first of all, and a teratoma in the eye is super rare, second of all. So, you know, we're supposed to go through a lot of genetic tests to figure it out. Y'all saw how much it cost for the spinal tap and bone marrow biopsy that I was supposed to have to pay out of pocket. So you could only imagine how much they quoted me for genetic testing and things like that. And I was like, that's a little unattainable. Like, I can't afford to do all of that genetic testing out of pocket. It's not gonna work. So we did a lot of resources in trying to find people that could do the level of genetic testing that she needed. And at the end of the day, it was really just Sloan, you know, that could do what she needed. And it was an out-of-pocket expense and something that I couldn't bear at the time. So we didn't do any more genetic testing, but now we're here. So like we have to, because we just don't know what kind of tumor it is at all. So where we are right now is she's on these steroids to try to reduce the swelling. They're pretty proof positive they're not going to be able to save her eye at this point because it's so inflamed, and it's been inflamed for so long, you know. I was taking her to the University of the West Indies and all kinds of doctors in Jamaica, and we weren't getting the level of service that we needed. And it's not, you know, it's not really for their lack of trying, I don't think. It's more just the resources that they had available to them. So I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna say nice things. And so she's over here eating the heck out of this sushi rice. Anyway, she's happy to be out of the hospital. But so we even talked to these doctors in Cuba. I sent her records off and everything to St. Jude, you know, because a lot of people are asking like, well, why not this hospital, or why not that hospital, or why didn't you try this, or why didn't you try that? Anybody that knows me would know that I research things to death, and I'm going to try to get the best option that is available. And so I'm going to research every option. And I sent off her records to a lot of people, trying to find, you know, the best solution. And at the end of the day, it's just Sloan. That's right now, that's the best option for her. That's just the bottom line. And Cuba, that was a good option for me. But I felt positive about what the ophthalmologist that we saw in Jamaica from Cuba said. And when he referred her over to Havana, really wanting to go and do that. But when we went to the Cuban embassy and then to try to make the travel arrangements and do all that, they couldn't get us in for at least 3 weeks, 3 weeks to a month. They said it would take to arrange all the travel and everything and get her over there. And she couldn't wait. You guys see the condition that she's in. Like 3 weeks to a month was it's just completely out of the question. So we're here now. There's a lot of time that's elapsed, you know, about 3 weeks or whatever, for her eye to be growing and getting damaged while we were trying to figure out solutions in Jamaica. So they don't really think that they can save it. They're trying with the steroids to reduce the swelling, maybe get a better diagnosis so they could see better what's going on. But it doesn't, I don't anticipate that they're going to be able to save her eye. So she's probably going to get it removed on Monday. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Then they'll do pathology to try to find out what kind of tumor this actually is, because they really just don't know. That's the other reason they want to do the bone marrow biopsy and the spinal tap, because they want to make sure that they could test other tumor markers. They can see if it's spread anywhere, because doing the bone marrow biopsy and the spinal tap will tell them if there's cancer cells, you know, like free radicals running around in her body. And they want to definitely figure that out so they can come up with a treatment plan. That's like the treatment. That's the part of the diagnostic tools that are going to help with what are we going to do after, you know, surgery, what's going to happen. Because this is just the beginning. This is going to be a long journey. Let me just say that right now. And this is just the beginning. So, yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking to just not know, because there's a tumor growing behind her eye, which is what's making it protrude out and causing all the inflammation. There's a lot of there's a tumor growing. So when he did the exam on Tuesday, Dr. Abramson, he was trying to see if he could see something to be able to biopsy. And there was just nothing for him to be able to clearly, you know, get in and biopsy without doing a complete surgery. The tumor is growing down into like the bone in her eye, it looks like. And so that's another reason that they're going to try to remove what's behind the eye, what's growing down into the eye. And is the other reason that they probably are not going to be able to save the eye. They want to try, but I'm, you know, being realistic in the fact that they're probably not going to be successful in that. So after that, they'll do pathology, send it off to the lab. I think it takes about 3 weeks for them to run all the tests they need to run, try to figure out if they can find out what type of tumor it is, what it is, and then come up with a treatment plan from there. So he presented me with an option. He's like, if you want, we can give her the steroids to reduce the swelling, start her on chemotherapy, and see what happens after that. But at some point, the eye is going to probably have to be removed. And I'm like, well, if you start her on chemo, like, what protocol are you even giving her? Like, you don't even know what it is. So he's like, yeah, we'd probably have to give her chemotherapy for retinoblastoma, just, you know, diagnose it as a retinoblastoma and treat it like it's a retinoblastoma with chemo. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. I'm not okay with that. So the other option was, you know, doing the biopsy. Maybe, you know, they're not going to be able to save the eye. Maybe trying to save the eye, but doing the biopsy seeing what it is, and then deciding the treatment plan after that. So that's what I opted for. We're going to do the surgery, get this thing taken care of so it can stop being, you know, all angry, and decide where to go after that. So at least for the next week or so, we'll be here in New York. Pre-ops tomorrow, surgery's on Monday. Come back on Tuesday for a follow-up after surgery, because all this is going to be done outpatient. So I had to find a hotel to stay here in New York that's within walking distance of the hospital, because I know nothing about this city. And yeah, the hotel that I had before, I chose it because it was like, oh, it's only 2.5 miles away. Well, I didn't realize like 2.5, like you have to cross a bridge and do this and do that, and there's traffic, and yeah, we're not doing that. So we found one that's within walking distance of the hospital. Stupid expensive, but this is our home for the next week. So until we figure it out and figure out exactly how long we have to be here and what like is going to happen after that. But one thing that I am kind of happy about that she's out of the hospital is her birthday's on Saturday. Her birthday's May 7th. And I really didn't want her to have to spend her birthday in the hospital. Like, that was my biggest thing. So I probably manifested her getting discharged, to be honest, because my whole thing was like, I don't want her in the hospital for her birthday. And like the universe like responded like, oh, okay, you don't want her, bet. She's getting discharged. Like, I have to be a little bit more specific in my manifestation, I think, you know, about what I want. But anyway, she's not going to be in the hospital for her birthday. So I'm figure out something safe to do for her birthday on Saturday, so she can enjoy that before she goes into this whole journey of surgery and figuring out treatment and what we're gonna do, like, you know, on Monday. So yeah, that's it. She's in pretty good spirits. I mean, you could hear her back there. She's, you know, doing her own thing. Joe came up from Albany, so she's with me to help, and I'm super excited about that. She had her outside playing with rocks earlier, so she's thoroughly excited. There's a park? Oh, really? Okay. No, I didn't see the videos because I was doing this live thing. Anyways, so we're trying to just keep her comfortable, keep her happy, get ready for surgery, fight with her about taking these steroids because they taste disgusting and she hates them, and getting her to take them is difficult. And yeah, what do you got? Here, come. You want to say hi again? Come say hi. Oh. Say hi. Look at you here. Say hi. Hi. You say hi? Hello. Yeah? No, I'm not saying hi. I'm just doing the thing. So, I have to tell you this story. We decided to, no, you can't eat that. Here, I'll give it to Joe. Huh? Yeah. I decided to, on the way over, because there was a lot of peopling going on in the airport and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to cover this eye. Like, I can't just have it protruding, and like, I can't do that. So, Danielle, you know, most of you know, was in Jamaica with me, and, you know, between her 25 years of medical experience and like my 20 years of medical experience, we're like, we got to fashion some sort of eye covering. So we went to the pharmacy and we're looking at supplies, and people probably thought we were crazy because we're like going over all these supplies trying to figure out how to make this patch. And Danielle like fashioned the most beautiful patch. I'm gonna put pictures of it in the comments after I'm done with this. She fashioned this most beautiful patch to go over Carlene's eye, and it was like literally the most beautiful thing and perfect. Like, it covered the eye, it did what it needed to do. I was even able to take it off in the family bathroom at the airport, put her moistening drops in, put it back on, whatever. But the other thing was, I was like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen going forward. And she's probably going to need like an eye patch or something going forward. So I want to get her accustomed to wearing that. So on the way over, because how Carlene is and how she fights, we basically had to like and put a chin strap, you know what I mean, to keep the thing on. But when I changed it at the airport, I didn't have to even do all that. She allowed the patch, just the patch, to stay on, and secured. And how Danielle made it, it had like some suction on it, so it stayed on. And so then we got to the hospital. They were like, we noticed she had a patch, like, or whatever. Do you want to keep, the patch? And I was like, yeah, we should really do that, because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know, because at that point we didn't know anything. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And if she's going to have an eye covering, I want her to be accustomed to having an eye covering. So they made, you just saw it, the eye covering, one more time. The eye covering that they made. I'm going to put the pictures of Danielle's patch in the comments, because it is way better than this thing that they made at the hospital. But so now I have like ointment and eye moistening drops and different things that I have to do, and I have to keep replacing the patch and like different things. They tried to give her gauze in the hospital. Oh gosh. For her eye, the gauze kept sticking to the eye and drying out. It was horrible. I'm just like, listen, y'all are gonna have to do better. We are gonna have to do better than this, like with the patch thing. Like I can't even with it. So we came up with a little bit of a better solution. Still not as good as Danny's, but hey, a little bit of better solution. But because they're going to remove the eye, like I said, I'm pretty proof positive that's gonna happen. She's gonna have to wear patches for the foreseeable future, and I'm just happy that we got her accustomed to them now. So because she leaves it on now, she doesn't even mess with it, take it off, she doesn't fight with it. We don't have to chin strap her. So she just leaves it on. Would love to have a more fashionable option, because that right there is just a little, yeah, it's a lot. Because yeah, and you know how people are, like, and all the questions when you're on the street and like, what's wrong and this, that, and blah, blah, blah. It's a lot. But her eye is protruding a lot right now. It's very inflamed. It's very angry. So we have to keep it covered, and then, have surgery on Monday and see what happens after that. But I just want to thank everybody for all your support, because without you, I wouldn't have been able to pull this off. We have close ties with the Hudson Family Foundation, Tim and Kim Hudson. When Kiana was going through her cancer diagnoses, Tim Hudson did this charity golf classic for Make-A-Wish every year. And one year, Kiana attended the event, and she sort of got adopted by Tim Hudson and his wife Kim and some of the other, Mark Mulder, one of the pitchers, Eric Chavez, and things like that. She even got a jersey. She has pictures with them and stuff like that, a gameplay jersey and things like that. So we had some close ties with them. And so when I started going through this, and then someone's gonna tell me I need to pay like almost $300,000 out of pocket before she can even be admitted, I was like, what? Michelle True, who I love with all my heart, and was instrumental in getting Kiana introduced to Tim Hudson and the foundation. Angela Rundles, who was the program administrator at the time for the Charity Golf Classic, Deetra Page, like all these people that were so great to Kiana back then. Michelle was like, you should reach out to Deetra, and you should reach out to Angela and find out if you can get a hold of, because I haven't talked to Tim and Kim in like years, if you can get a hold of them. And I'm like, all right, good, yes. And so I did. And Kim was all over it, got her executive director of the Hudson Foundation involved. She called down to Sloan and was like, look here, you need to do something for this family. You need to fix this. Like, and they told her the same thing. They were like, they're direct pay clients. Like, they started paying out of pocket. They got to keep paying out of pocket. And she got angry. Let me tell you, she got angry. She had Major League Baseball players calling down to Sloan, like literally on a regular, telling them, you need to do something to fix this. Nobody can pull $300,000 like just out of thin air, you know, to give you to check into a that's insane. Like, this baby is coming all the way from Jamaica. Like, that's just not going to happen. What are you going to do? And so she started calling. I think a few of my other friends started calling. So there was a lot of people that were instrumental in like making all of this happen. Like, it's not just, besides the donations, the fundraiser, all of that stuff, so that we can, there were so many people from so many angles, like coming at this thing, trying to make sure that Carlene could be here and that she could get admitted and that we could get all of these things taken care of. It's like, it's been a huge deal. And so Mariah Bernhardt of Canna Moms, oh my gosh, she got fumed when she heard about it. You know, her daughter is, you know, going through a cancer diagnosis and been fighting for a long time. She's a patient over at St. Jude. I don't want to, you know, put her information out there too much, but she's very vocal about not just, you know, the cannabis community and people's right to choose, but, you know, being a cancer mom, kids, you know, being able to get the care that they need. So she's like, if I have your permission, we're texting back and forth, you know, on the plane. She's like, if I have your permission, I will write to Sloan. She got the emails of the president of the board of directors and their board members, like, and things like that. And she wrote a strongly worded email to the president. She CC'd me on it, and I was just like, whoa. So between like the Hudson Foundation, Mariah, everybody's board members, and the president of the hospital getting involved, it's so funny because when we did the appointment with Dr. Abramson, he's like, there was a team of people, like I had a team of people like there, like from every department and things like that. He's like, oh, y'all have been getting emails all morning too. So I totally have to thank everybody. My team came together, like helping to pay the hospital bill, helping to get them admit her no matter what, taking that $300,000 off the table. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a non-issue, non-factor at this point. There's a lot of costs. Yeah, baby.
Bye, Mommy.
You're leaving again? No, Joe's leaving. She's going to go work. There's a lot of costs that are going into this. A place to stay while we're here. You don't want that? You want this? Depending on how long we have to be here, you know, a lot of stuff. I think Carlene is about at her limit of me doing this live. This? No, what? This? Oh, you want both of them. Carlene's about at her limit of me doing this live. So I just want to thank everybody. Y'all have been awesome and amazing. We appreciate your support, your continued support. This is the beginning. It's going to be a long fight. And I will try to update you guys again after Monday. We're going to spend a beautiful day. What? This?
Yeah.
This? We're going to spend a beautiful day with Carlene on this. No? Okay. On Saturday for her birthday. Thank you all again. I'm going to get off this live because she's going to fight me in just a minute. So say bye, Carlene. Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Connie.
Bye, Carlene. All right. Thanks, guys.